A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
I've been here about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. Well, it's a day for history here on Turn to 100, as it is our first second season of official broadcasting, if that makes any sense. But we are back here to Oulton Park. We are back with the Mission R Challenge, and we are back with a high top split, truly, today, Strength of Field broadcast. As it's Tommy Cook and it's Matt Williamson. Boy howdy, the Mission R's are back, electric car racing is back, and we're back, by golly.
Yep, I know everybody missed us. We missed everybody else. I know it's only been a week, but we are back and ready to get this thing kicked off in quite spectacular fashion. Like you said, a very high strength of field here today for the Porsche Mission R Challenge at Oulton Park, and this should be a good one. If you go back to the first week of last season, boy, were we greeted with something special, and I'm looking for something similar here today.
Absolutely. You mentioned or alluded to week one last week, which is at Watkins Glen. That one was taken by Olivia Hayward. Olivia Hayward was the points leader for quite a bit of the season in both the Sunday standings and the official overall all-division standings. Didn't end up walking away with the championship, but Olivia Hayward is right back to the winning ways here, as Olivia won the Thursday Strength of Field race. We've had at least 2 races go official this week in the Mission R, and we've split here today with 6 drivers who registered and unregistered in that same period of time, mind you. We've had 28 drivers that have elected to come out and try their hand this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are, at the Mission R Challenge. So 14 in the top split here, and I'd say 10 out of the 14 drivers are names that you would recognize as drivers who have run with the Mission R Challenge and run well as well. So it's a who's who of exciting drivers who will take to it here today at Oulton Park. Slightly different configuration than what we ran here last season. Last season, we took out the Hislop chicane, which is what you just saw Sam Widgie drive through there. That's one name that we're going to have to get used to here as this one rolls along. But you just saw Sam take the Hislop chicane here this season. We have taken out the Britain's chicane, which is the chicane that is directly before it in the layout. So slightly different than what we saw here last season, but still long straights, fast sweeping turns here at Oulton Park. So this draft-intensive car is going to eat that up, and we're going to be in for quite the treat once again here with the Mission R Challenge.
Yeah, especially here. This is a very fast-paced track. There's a couple spots you really have to slow down. There's one big hairpin. You're going to get down to about 30 miles an hour when we come to that point, and then speeds all the way up to, I believe, around 170-plus miles an hour. So a lot of fast sections here on this track and this layout, but some tricky places as well.
Of course, for anybody not familiar with the Mission R Challenge, or the Porsche Mission R, as it were, 2 different modes in this car. The first all-electric vehicle to be introduced to iRacing. 1,088 horsepower in these cars right now in qualifying mode. So speeds will be a little bit down when we bring them back into race mode. Still over 600 horsepower in the car in its standard racing mode, and still going to hit quite high speeds around Oulton Park, situated in Cheshire in the United Kingdom and England. Very excited. I know we've got a few drivers from across the pond that always make it into the top splits and always come out and race with the Mission R Challenge. So good evening to you. Good evening to anybody else over in Europe. And good afternoon to those of you watching here in the United States and elsewhere in North and South America. As very excited to be back. We just hit 500 subscribers last night during a charity broadcast that we were putting on, which had a lot of interesting moments, to say the least. It's definitely worth a watch if you've got the time here this afternoon. But we appreciate you spending some time here with us, and we are very excited to get back to it. So let's do it. The Mission R Challenge standing start grid will look like this. JJ Wang, the reigning official series champion, has the top qualifying time with a 1 minute 25.814. Andre Castro is racing in his second race ever in the Mission R Challenge, at least in our time here. He won last season at Chicago in controversial fashion, starting next to the man that he beat there. Olivia Hayward, the winner of the first race last season, will start in third. Connor Pearson is back. He will line up in fourth. Ella Spice ran very well here in the Thursday Strength of Field race. He starts at fifth. Sam Widgie, sorry to Sam, but you start sixth. Alex Salmon and Phil Webb then on row number 4. Jackie Matthews and Chris Wetz on row number 5. Jamie Himmel-Smith and Indica Scarlett on the 6th row. And the back row here up the top split is Thortola on the inside and Brood D. Silva. And with that, everybody is on the grid, and we are about to get underway for season number 1 of 2024. And we're off. Wang and Castro right back to it up front. JJ holds him off for now. Hayward takes third outright, single file most of the way through the top 10. As we work into Cascades and down Lakeside.
There's been contact throughout the field already, a little bit farther back towards the middle of the pack there on the start.
Castro giving space here to Wang up front. Olivia Hayward, no such favors being paid to Andre Castro. As we work around Shell's Oil Corner, we're going to bypass the Britain's chicane, which was in play here last season, and instead head down Hilltop and towards Hislop's chicane.
Yeah, and it makes this chicane a little bit harder because you're carrying a lot of speed in here. Wow, what a move by Alex Salmon.
Spins! 2 around. Thortola and Phil Webb have gone around into Hislop, I believe with contact from Alex Salmon.
And unfortunately, Darrell Williams is in the second split. He was hoping to be on broadcast here tonight.
We were joking about that earlier, and then it happened. So I think we put that one in motion, unfortunately.
Another curse.
Another curse. Yes, if for whatever reason the driver in the second split, or the drivers in the second split happen to be listening to us right now, we will be interviewing the second split winner if they so wish to be interviewed after this one is all said and done here. Of course, podium interviews will be on, and right now the podium spots belong to J.J. Wang, Andre Castro, and Olivia Hayward. "20-minute timed race here."
J.J. Wang continues to lead it out front. Hayward has been pretty close to Castro this entire time. That's a fight for second. Couple of
Some
good battles
battles
throughout the field here as well.
This is Widgie and Salmon. Salmon in front right now in sixth. Jackie Matthews and Jamie Hamel-Smith pretty close right behind them for eighth. And Indica Scarlett and Bruce Silva close together in 11th and 12th. And also thank you to Jarrell Williams for sending us the thumbnail photo for the broadcast here.
Here's Hamel Smith all over Jackie Matthews. Tough place to make passes here. And if there's anything we learned from our first season of the Porsche Mission R Challenge, that's that sometimes you got to get a little dirty to make passes. It's a difficult car to make clean passes in for sure.
Especially at this track, we didn't see a whole lot of passing, incident-free passing anyway, here at Oulton Park last season. But a lot of close racing, and that's what we've seen here again. Olivia Hayward gave up a little bit of time to to Andre Castro through turns 1 and 2 after dropping a wheel off in the dirt, but they have all closed right back in on one another here into the his lap chicane. And we
By the way,
mentioned...
if anybody,
Go ahead.
if anybody watching has forgotten, it is all electric here, 20 minutes. It's going to be about 15 laps here today. No pit stop needed.
Contact and a spin. Alex Salmon with help from Sam Widgie.
Oh, wow. And Chris Wetz just piled in.
Yes, that was an awful spot for Salmon to get turned around there. And that is meatball flags for Wetz and Salmon.
Here's a look at the replay. Oh, and a little bit of help there.
Yes, certainly a lot of contact.
Then you see Wetz piles into the incident, and that's a good time to also mention there is a 17x incident disqualification limit. So if you get 17 incident points, you are booted from the race.
5 minutes complete. Some separation from Castro back to Hayward, and Castro now reeling in J.J. Wang. If you were with us with the Chicago street course race, problems for Jamie Hamel-Smith. Jamie has gone around, was running in the 8th position. I think Jackie Matthews got a piece of that as well. Jackie is towed back to the pits.
Wow.
Treacherous around Shell's Oil corner here.
Oh, wow. Bruce Silva around all on their own.
And Brew pounded the barrier there.
Wow, that was a really it's just an awkward incident there. That was really strange.
We mentioned these tires, with the weight of this car, don't always play very nice when you're doing a lot of lateral loading at high speeds, and that's exactly what this track has.
And we see on the replay there, going around that sweeper, the rear end of the car started coming around, and an overcorrection just catapulted Silva into the wall there. And Tommy, you mentioned it, the history between Castro and JJ Wang. Castro's starting to catch up to JJ here. Now, JJ's pretty good at knowing how to manage the tires on this particular car. And you have to wonder sometimes if when he slows down and people start to catch him, he's just getting the tires cooled off a little bit to help him have a great next lap or two. But that's not always the case. It's really strange how the tires react really differently to different surfaces here with this car.
And what helps a lot is the big wake left behind by that ginormous spoiler and this very wide-bodied car. Even if JJ's being a little conservative here and Castro can be a little conservative as well, he's still able to keep right in line with his... Oh, no!
Wow.
An unsolicited error there. Castro with the back end of the car just came right out from underneath of him. And Castro drops back to fourth and is back on his way.
And we've seen it so many times from so many drivers already here, not even halfway through this one. And it's come up and bit Andre Castro as well. Now
It's
Connor
easy
Pearson.
to do.
Yeah, very easy to do. Connor Pearson, who was in fourth, now has acquired third, is right behind Olivia Hayward now. Pearson
Hayward
really putting in some good laps.
Hayward a couple of times through turns 1 and 2, as well as around Shell's Oil, has gone off past the runoff. One of those tracks where the runoff is painted green for some ungodly reason. But regardless of that, Hayward has dropped a couple of wheels here and there and has allowed Pearson to stay right in touch. But now they're battling on the podium and not for one, with the problems for Castro. Castro in fourth. Ellis Spice pretty comfortably in the fifth position, as pretty much everybody from sixth on back has had to do some sort of wreck avoidance throughout the first half of this race, or have just been in the wreck.
And you mentioned there's a lot of places that drivers have been off track. We've seen a lot of tires dipped into the grass. A little curious how generous the runoff or the incident for getting off track is here. Sometimes it's very stiff, sometimes it's pretty lenient.
2-second lead for JJ Wang, who led 6 laps in the Thursday strength of field race before giving up the lead to Olivia Hayward. And it's 6 completed laps for JJ Wang up front thus far, with Hayward back in second and Connor Pearson in third.
Unfortunately for Chris Wetz and Jackie Matthews, the incidents they had have taken them out of the race, so only 12 remain on the racing surface here.
And again, we'll rattle off the second split finishing order as soon as we get that as well. And maybe talk to that winner if they are in the Discord server. You never know. This is still a flourishing community here. It's still finding its footing a bit. But last season was a smashing success, to say the least. and keeping that same energy straight out of the gate here for 2024's Season 1.
I know we've been watching this battle pretty closely here, but by far the closest battle on the track between Pearson and Hayward.
Pearson biding his time here. But Andre Castro is closing on these two very, very marginally. With 8 minutes left to go, it's not out of the question that Castro couldn't sneak back into the podium picture here. Four Sunday top split starts for Connor Pearson in Season 4 of 2023. Best finish of second on 2 separate occasions.
Tortola's been working their way through the field here pretty steadily. Up 6 positions at this point, has made passes on Jamie Himmel-Smith and Scarlet Indica.
Oh, and Hayward has gone wide and has opened the door here for Connor Pearson to sneak underneath. Can't quite complete the pass. Now will. So Hayward went wide into turn number 2, and that opened the door for Pearson, and he took it.
And you mentioned Castro coming into the picture as well. He's been able to close that gap a little bit while these two have battled. Going back to Tortola, he's made passes on Jamie Himmel-Smith and Scarlet Indica in the last few laps. Now works on Sam Widgie.
Oh, JJ Wang is in the barriers! The leader is out! What has happened?
Wow, this was proven to be very difficult for all drivers here.
What happened to the race leader? I'll tell you what, JJ, I think, got disconnected from the session. Because he had a huge blink and then all of a sudden just went straight line full throttle like you would if you got disconnected.
You know what? You're right. It was turned straight left the entire time.
So either that or some sort of wheel disconnect and a mistimed blink. That was strange, to say the least. And the reigning series champion out of the Sunday top split from the lead.
Yeah, definitely some sort of disconnect or hardware malfunction, like you said. The wheel literally, after coming back from the blink, just turned completely to the left instantly. Wow, that is quite unfortunate. But all of a sudden, we have a 3-way battle for the lead now.
JJ's loss, unfortunately, is going to be our gain here. 4.5 minutes left to go. Pearson, Hayward, and Castro nose to tail now for the podium. Pearson has definitely had the pace on Hayward, despite the mistakes from Olivia. But again, able to hang in the draft here, and all it's going to take is one slip-up from Pearson, and these two behind him are going to be all over him.
And Castro's proven the speed here as well, but we know has had issues with the handling of the car, and Well, we've already well documented making passes is very difficult here.
Hayward and Castro both went about a car length and a half deeper into the braking zone and into his lap. So they have made up big gains here on Pearson in the lead. Olivia Hayward would love to get the elbows out here and take another one in spectacular fashion, like what happened at Watkins Glen last season.
I mean, it was a last lap pass in week 1 last season. Can you imagine if we get one again here? Hayward is right on the rear wing here, waiting for a moment, waiting for an opportunity. But if the opportunity doesn't come, might have to get the elbows out, like you said, and put the bumper to use, possibly.
We're no strangers to RG Bargy here in the Mission Art Challenge on a Sunday afternoon. Why not? I think we'll be coming to the white flag this time, so that should only serve to ramp up the intensity. Oh, and Hayward with a slip-up right back to the back bumper of Castro now. And Castro going to go for a dive. They make contact.
And you can see the slide from the rear tires of Hayward as well. Did not like that on the outside through that final turn.
We should get back to the line here unless something happens with about 3 seconds left to go. Gonna be awfully close. Thortella working on Sam Widgie to move into the top 5. But all eyes up front here. In the closing laps, Pearson trying to hang on for what would be a first broadcasted top split win here in the Mission Art Challenge after 2 podiums in his 4 starts last season. Castro is 1 for 1. Hayward won week 1 last season and the top split race on Thursday here at Oulton Park. They've all got claims to being the favorite here headed to the final lap. Castro so much deeper into the braking zone there.
It looks like we are going to get another lap here.
Yes, indeed. Across the stripe, 4 seconds left. White flag.
And Castro has been putting the heat on. They're very, very good through the second half of this course. Looks like Pearson and Castro are about even through the first part, but Castro really pours it on there in the second half.
Through Shell Oil Corner for the final time.
Whoa, Castro thought about sneaking underneath there.
The sprint down Hilltop into the Hislop chicane. This is where Castro's made up a ton of ground. Is he going to send it? Stays tucked in line.
Might be trying to set that pass up for that last corner again like he did on Hayward. Let's see.
Around the water tower and into Druid's Corner. Both using a lot of the curbing. To Lodge corner, here's the move. A peek to the inside, covered off. And Connor Pearson is going to hang on for a win here to open up Season 1 of 2024 for the Mission R Challenge.
And Bartola still going after Sam Widgie here. I don't think he's going to be able to get it. That was a great battle throughout the second half of this race.
Well, that is, I mean, even though he won the championship last season, just heartbreak galore for JJ Wang all throughout. And it's more of the same here to open up this season.
Yeah, and the fact that JJ hasn't messaged in the Discord, from what I can tell, tells me that it may be some sort of, maybe an internet outage or something. He's usually pretty quick.
He was hanging around in the session here and did congratulate the podium drivers. So,
gotcha.
Just I can only imagine the immense disappointment there for JJ Wang after some sort of malfunction took him out of this race from the lead. But his loss is Connor Pearson's gain, as Pearson will take the win. Andre Castor, a hard-fought second place and a great recovery after an early spin. And Olivia Hayward will be back on the podium. Hopefully we'll talk to all three of these drivers momentarily. But Olivia Hayward, for sure, we will snag a word with. Ellis Spice will finish in fourth, Sam Widgie in fifth, Thortola in sixth, Indico Scarlett in seventh, Jamie Hamel-Smith eighth, Phil Webb in ninth, and Brody Silva in 10th, and Alex Salmon in 11th. DNFs then for JJ Wang in 12th, Jackie Matthews in 13th, and Chris Wetz in P14. All right, we will first pull in your third place finisher here, Olivia Hayward. Back. That's just beautiful. I love that. Congratulations on the podium here.
Thank you. I've been waiting so many weeks for that payoff. It's so long since we've spoken.
Well, that was absolutely well worth it. Yes. I mean, a great race here. It looked to be a fun race here. And always fun when you can get your elbows out and scrap away for a podium.
Yeah.
I mean, there were just a couple of corners here that really everybody was having problems with, just trying to keep the tires under you. And we know that's not a problem, but a feature of this car. How did you go about handling it here this race?
Not very well, I think. I was having to push so hard to try and stay on the back of JJ and Andre and to hold off Connor. I sort of knew when I was doing that I was going to be losing tire, but I didn't have a choice because otherwise I'd just get swallowed up. So yeah, I was pushing. Started to feel it, especially in the second half. Connor slipped past, and I didn't realize how important that would be until JJ had his wheel issue, which is a real shame. I think JJ, he was lightning all week, just had some very unfortunate things happen, and definitely deserved to be up here. But yeah, Connor got past, and then Andre recovering from that spin. I had a little bit of a moment through Druids, with like coming to 2 to go. He sent it in the final corner. I drifted a bit wide. I think it was netcode more than actual contact, but either way, he stuck the corner, made it clean, and then I was just praying that something happened for that battle for the win, but they were very sensible, so I'm happy with the podium, especially with the strength of this field.
Yes, it was a very high strength of field here tonight. Matt, what do you got here for Olivia?
Yeah, congrats on the P3. Put on a great show for us there, so we always appreciate that, and you always do. We were wondering if there might be a last lap pass, just like week 1 of the last season. We were hoping for it, but nonetheless,
I was hoping so as well.
But nonetheless, still a great race. Talk to me about the lateral movement with this car, and these sweeping corners seem to be very tricky, and it claimed a couple of drivers here tonight.
Yeah. in a way, the tire wear and like how the tires progress as they wear feels more like a stock car than a road car. Like you really end up riding the rear tires through corners, just trying to push as much as you can, but not let it slip out too much. So yeah, I mean, whenever I describe the car, it's like it's almost like the next gen on road courses, except it strolls a bit more on throttle. It has the front wheel drive as well, but it's a lot of fun. It's always a challenge. I know that I'm not the best at the tire saving. I think JJ is definitely the phenom at that, so definitely something to improve on. But I didn't have a chance to save in this race, so I'll take podium here for sure.
Well, first of hopefully many EEEs in the in booth 200 here as the season will roll along. But I know you got people you want to shout out and thank, so we'll leave you to it here.
Yeah, big shout out to everyone I was racing with in that top split especially, but also Ellis and Jackie. I know Jackie had a pretty rough time of it today, but yeah, everyone who comes out every week, youth broadcasting. Yeah, I just want to thank Leah. I'm going to be away for the next couple of weeks, so you'll have some peace and quiet until the new year in this one. Yeah, very excited to come back after that and get going again. I just registered for the GT1 stuff, which is happening right after this. So
Oh my!
I'm going to have to head off, but let's hope that one goes just as well. Thanks for broadcasting. I'll see you all hopefully week 4 in the booth.
Yes, best of luck in the GT1 race, but thank you for the time here tonight.
Thank you.
That's the Chad Stern strategy of just going straight into another race.
Absolutely.
A racer's racer, Olivia Hayward. Excited to talk to Andre Castro here because we did not get to talk to him after his win at Chicago last season, and nearly went 2 for 2 on the Sunday time splits, but we'll have to settle for a P2 here. I would imagine after the spin early in this one, you feel probably pretty good about a P2, but am I wrong about that?
No, I think P2 was pretty good. I mean, obviously, after that, it was hard to recover. I had to kind of wait for a mistake from Olivia before I could attack her, and then Connor just drove well, so I couldn't get by him. I don't know what happened to JJ. I'm assuming it was like some hardware or, computer situation, so he definitely deserved that one. I was looking at the replay, like I think I dropped like 20% of my rear tire, like a fifth of it just barely touched the grass, and it sent me around. But it was cool to see it split, cool to have more people racing the car. I mean, I'm kind of new to it myself, but I enjoy it because it's so different from everything else on here. And Oulton is a great track, so I enjoyed the race. Obviously, wish could have gotten pole. I think it was 5/1000 SOF. So I think for the next few races, if I'm going to do this again, I gotta practice for more than 4 or 5 laps, which is what I did for this one and for Chicago. So yeah, for the next one, I'll try to maybe prepare a little bit better and try to get that pole and keep the lead. But no, I had fun. It was a good race.
Everybody who does sim racing knows kind of what their own process is for, if you spin in the middle of a race and the caution doesn't come out, you gotta get back on the horse. What's the regrouping process like here with a car as different as you said as the Mission R is?
Just trying to get back into a rhythm, really. Try not to start over driving, which I think I did a little bit when I first got back on the track. It helped that I don't know what happened between Connor and Olivia, but they lost like a second to me. They went side by side. So at that point, I kind of calmed down and I said, all right, if I put in some consistent laps, I can try to get up to him. And I didn't expect JJ to crash at that point or to have his issues. So yeah, I just had to kind of calm myself down and try not to push too hard. Especially with this car, it can definitely understeer, and if you miss the corner, it can cost a lot of time. So yeah, just try to keep calm and get the most I could out of it. Because it can always be worse, I guess. I think when you make a mistake, you think about what could have been, but you forget that you could be crashing or be out. So a lot of the time I've made a mistake, and then I've made like 2 or 3 more mistakes, and I'm like, man, if I had just calmed down after that first one, it would have been better. But yeah.
Matt, what do you got here for Andre?
Well, you did a great job of regrouping, and this car is, I think, notoriously hard to pass in. When you're trying to work your way back in and make that pass on Olivia, how are you trying to set passes up here? Because it seems very, very difficult.
Yeah, I didn't really have much time. I mean, there are only a couple places I feel like you can pass without someone making a mistake. So into the last corner, I was just kind of close, and she messed up the corner before, so I was kind of just able to send it in. I think we made a little contact. I mean, I don't think it was anything huge, but she braked deep, and I had to brake deep as well, and touch a little bit, but I think it was all fair. So yeah, I don't know. You try to plan what you can, but sometimes you just have to wait on someone to make a mistake.
There were definitely quite a few mistakes from everybody, top to bottom, in this field here today. But I mean, I think you certainly had the best recovery out of anybody. It's impossible to argue otherwise. So nice run here today. Glad to finally get to talk to you. Do you have anybody you want to say hello to here or shout out?
I guess thanks to JJ and everybody that puts this series on, and you guys for commentating. I had a fun time, watching back the race in Chicago, and I'm sure I'll watch this one back. But it's cool to have the community supporting a car that is on the less popular side and trying to bring it up and have more people be interested in this. So yeah, thanks to everybody that kind of puts this production on.
Well, thank you to you for racing, and nice job here today. Congrats on the podium.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy. Thanks, guys.
And Connor Pearson, I don't think is in the Discord server, so despite this being his third podium here on the channel and his first win on the channel, I've yet to talk to Mr. Pearson. So hopefully that will change here going forward. I would imagine with the streak that Connor Pearson has been on of late, we will not be short of any opportunities to talk to him as this season rolls along, especially since quite a few of the tracks from this season were on the schedule last season in one form or another, and the swaps that we've made are only conducive to this car. We've got Jerez Moto next week, which is, I mean, to not beat around the bush, that is going to kick ass. I am very excited about Jerez next week. We've got Long Beach later in the season. We're going to close the season out in Zandvoort, the 2023 rescan. Like, this season is just banger after banger, and we opened with a banger here today.
Yeah, we certainly did. I feel like we always have bangers here with this car in these races. They've done a really good job of selecting tracks that create really good racing, and obviously the drivers just put on an excellent show for us. And it's quickly become a little hidden gem here, I think, for the Porsche Mission R broadcast. So yeah, very excited to be on the call here for the next 11 weeks.
Absolutely. Some upcoming action here. Actually, before we get to the upcoming action, I do have the second split results. Congratulations to Vincent Bilaudel for the win. Marlon Orlando, who was no stranger to running up front in the top split last season, Marlon Orlando finishes second. And our buddy Jarrell Williams rounds out that podium. Adrian Johansson and Mattia Stroke round out the top five. Henson Wong, Michael Davis, Arthur Malou, Justin Gura, Zachary Voles, the top 10. John Schneebel down at 11th. Ba An Vu in 12th. Elias Bush and Colby Bengi round out the field there. 14 split right down the middle of 28. So 14 in the top, 14 in the second. But congratulations to Vincent. Now, some upcoming action for you here. As we've only got two broadcasts between now and next Sunday's race at Jerez Moto for the Mission Art Challenge. Yes, despite the fact that it'll be Christmas Eve, we'll be here, or at least I'll be here. I don't know if you'll be here or not. But
most likely not for me, but we'll have to see.
All right, so I'll be here with Jerez Moto next week. But regardless of that, tomorrow night the Formula Super Series will be at Okayama. And Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series will be at Dover. So that's the three races we got here in the next 7 days with Jerez Moto, of course, week 2 of season 1 of 2024 next week. Matt Williamson, anything you want to say here to close out the rest of the broadcast?
Yeah, just thanks to anybody that was out here watching here today, and we'll watch after the race is over. And thanks to Terrell Williams for being in the chat. Was a little bit disappointed we didn't get you on the broadcast, but I'm sure it's coming here fairly soon, at least for this series anyway. So thank you to Jarrell for tuning in. Appreciate it. And for the participation in the charity race last night. If nobody is aware, if you're not aware yet, we did do a charity race for Toys for Tots last night, and it is still open to donate to if you would like to, either today and I think tomorrow may be the last day it's open. So if you would like to donate to that, please think about it. You can see the donation link in the race description from Saturday.
Absolutely. Yes, so that's about all we got here. Congratulations to all the drivers who finished on the podium here. Thank you to everybody with the Mission R community. Thank you to JJ Wang and Dario Frattini. And thank you to everybody that was watching and everybody that has subscribed and helped us get to 500 subscribers. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And here's to 500 more. Until we meet again here from Oulton Park, it's Tommy Cook and it's Matt Williamson. We are saying so long and congratulations to Connor Pearson on the first Sunday top split victory here on Turn 200.